Grizz Nation, it's time to send Ja, Jaren, and Dez to the 2025 All-Star Game.
Oh! What did we just see, partner?
Take three! Take three!
Bane for three. Bingo! This man Bane
Heating it up.
blocked by Jaren.
Most versatile power forward in the game today.
Head to NBA.com/vote, the NBA app, or simply use the QR code on the screen to send your Grizzlies to the All-Star Game today.
Our fans have a huge impact on our ability to play to the level that we're striving for.
Drop off, Durant. Oh! Well, you wanted home crowd involvement.
I love those moments where you see our guys engaging in the fans, and the fans just get pumped up.
They are standing in FedEx Forum.
I would hate to be on the other side with the opposition when FedEx Forum's rolling. That's such an unbelievable relationship that our group has with our fans.
When it's all on the line, you turn to the strong, the stable, the unwavering, to those with a history of raising their performance to meet the moment. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies Checking from Pinnacle. Play hard, bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st, and you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing beats catching your Grizzlies IRL, and nobody knows that better than you. So next time you want to hit up a game, Ticketmaster's got your back with tickets to every upcoming matchup. Whether you're catching the Grizzlies at home or on the road, you'll find tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Keep putting that jersey collection to use and get Grizzlies tickets today. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside again soon, Memphis.
Live from the Built Ford Tough studio at FedEx Forum, it's the Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South, on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Now, here's your host, Gary Parrish.
All right. I'm here. My name is Gary Parrish. I'm speaking to you from Midtown Manhattan, New York City. Bennett Doyle producing the program back inside the Built Ford Tough studio, downtown Memphis. Glad he's with me. Glad you're with me. Hope you get through the day best you can. And I hope you're ready for Thursday night basketball because we got a good one tonight in downtown Memphis. It's a Western Conference showdown between the second-place Rockets and the third-place Grizzlies. I get you ready for it here in a second. First, though, quickly, let me set today's schedule for you. In the next segment, about 20 minutes, Mike Wallace going to join me, senior editor, Grind City Media. He'll help us get ready for Rockets Grizz tonight, try to help us figure out who's playing, who isn't playing. Mike Wallace is going to be here in the next segment. Finish talking to him. We'll take a break, come back, do 5 more things you need to know, at which point we're going to discuss 5 previously undiscussed stories, among them this season's first college football playoff semifinal. Going to be played tonight down in Miami. Notre Dame against Penn State. And James Franklin, the Penn State coach, he's got unsolicited advice for Notre Dame. He said, get into a conference, you losers. This ain't fair. We'll spend a few minutes on that. We'll do it in about 40 minutes. Ole Miss went to Arkansas last night, beat John Calipari and the Razorbacks. Cal's now 0-2 in the SEC for the first time ever. Not off to a great start in Fayetteville. I'll give you some numbers a little later on in the show. Nikki Glazer has reportedly already reached an agreement to host the Golden Globes again next year. So that was fast. Good for her. We'll applaud her success. We'll do that in the third segment. The Cavs snapped Oklahoma City's 15-game winning streak last night. It was a thriller in Cleveland. Could be a finals preview. We'll talk about that in just a bit. And former Major League Baseball general manager David Sampson has predicted that Tom Brady will not return as a Fox analyst next season. He seems pretty sure. I'll tell you what he said. We'll do that during a segment we call 5 More Things You Need to Know. Then we'll eventually do GP's carryout and we'll call it a day. So that's the rundown. We got a lot to get to. Obviously, though, we want to start with your Memphis Grizzlies. Game 38, the scheduled 82, is set for the night. Downtown Memphis. Rockets Grizzlies inside FedEx Forum. Tip schedule just a little after 7 o'clock. Tickets available, Grizzlies.com. And old buddy at Grizzlies PR delivered some encouraging news at exactly 5 o'clock yesterday. You don't never know what you're going to get. I mean, I know what
I held my breath.
I know what we usually get.
Yep.
I know what we usually get, but you don't always know what you're going to get. And so I'm just sitting around, I'm just enjoying myself, getting ready for work and just enjoying myself. And then there it is, right at 5 o'clock Central. Here comes the tweet. Ja Morant has been upgraded from out to questionable with a right AC joint sprain. Questionable obviously doesn't guarantee that he'll play, but it does suggest that he might. It suggests that he might be in uniform tonight for the first time since December 27th. That's when he got caught with that hard screen in a game against New Orleans. He dropped no whistle, but he has missed the past 5 games, and the Grizz have gone 2-3 in his absence. Also listed, by the way, as questionable tonight, Jaren Jackson with left thigh soreness, and Desmond Bane and Santi Aldama both with left ankle sprain. So the Grizz have 4 players listed as questionable, including all 3 stars. Big Bet Bennett, let's play a game.
Okay.
Who plays tonight? You predicted. Of the Ja, Jaren, Dez trio, how many do we see tonight?
I'm going to be optimistic and say we see all 3 of them.
Man, that sounds great, Bennett.
Yeah, I'm gonna be optimistic. I mean, dude, this is a big game. This is a big game because it's obviously against a team that you're right there neck and neck with in the standings. But then you got another tough road trip coming up right after this game. So I think it's a pretty important one for the Grizzlies to get. Also considering that they went 2-3 on the last road trip. So I think these home games become more and more important. And if guys are leaning towards being ready to go, I hope they all play.
Bennett, I want you to predict it one more time because I just like hearing things like that.
I'm going to say all 3 play. I'm going to be optimistic. I'm going to try to be optimistic and say all 3 play.
Man, I really like the way that sounds. Why don't you say that one more time for me?
I think all 3 are going to play. I don't know. I think so.
Wouldn't that be fun? And it is a big game tonight. I don't think all 3 should play or all 3 shouldn't play because of whether it's a big game or not in January necessarily. But, they are all questionable. It's not doubtful. It's not doubtful. Certainly not out.
Yeah.
So encouraging news. We'll see as we get closer to tip-off. The game is big, though, because it is a game between the teams that are currently sitting second and third in the Western Conference standings. The Rockets are 24-12. Grizz 24-13. So that means the Grizzlies are a half game back of the Rockets right now, which means is just where the standings work, Bennett. If the Grizzlies win tonight, they'll move to 25-13 while the Rockets drop to 24-12, which means, the Rockets would drop to 24-13, which would mean that the Grizz, if they win tonight, they'd be alone in second place in the Western Conference standings with 44 games remaining in the regular season. If you're curious, Houston did open as a 3.5-point favorite, in part because each of its top 5 scorers are expected to be available tonight, among them Jalen Green, who, now 22-year-old guard, averaging a team-high 20.3 points per game. So I know his NBA career didn't get off to the best of starts, and there were some real questions about him, and perhaps there still are, but he is right now the leading scorer on a team that is second place in the Western Conference standings. That ain't bad. 3.5, that's where the number opened. Went down to 1.5 this morning. More recently saw it at 1. Big Bet Bennett, what do you make of that? That number's dropping. I think the world, what it suggests to me is that the world looked at Houston opening as a 3.5-point favorite and said, that is disrespectful. Let's move that number down.
Or the injury report came out, and it looks like the Grizzlies are going to get some of their stars back. I think that's probably the answer, right?
Hey, well, I think the injury report came out before the number posted.
Okay.
Yeah, but hey, Bennett, hey, we'll see. Hey, you looking forward to seeing some old friends tonight? We got old friends in the building tonight. Dylan Brooks is going to be in the building tonight. He's having a solid season. You keeping track of him?
I have been keeping track of him.
Of course you have.
Dude, you got to give him his props. He's on a good team, and he's been a big-time contributor for them. He's having a good year.
Don't
I'm
nobody
a DB fan, so.
Oh, buddy,
yeah.
Don't tell me. Nobody likes to give Dylan Brooks his props more than you.
Yeah, no, how can you not? How can you not? They're 2 in the West. They're 2 in the West, bro.
I hope when he makes eye contact with you tonight, he shows you proper appreciation for always supporting him.
I would hope so. I've always had his back.
And thin. Through thick and thin, you've always had his back.
Yeah, man. I've always had Dylan's back.
you've always tried to be, the counterpoint. You've always tried to be like maybe there's another side to this guy when it comes to Dillon Brooks. So I hope when you guys lock eyes tonight inside FedEx Forum, he shows you proper appreciation for always supporting him. He is seriously having a nice season. He's averaging 13.6 points per game, shooting 42.1% from the field, including a career high 38.9% from three on 6 attempts per game. So, those are like the kind of numbers we wanted him to shoot in Memphis. He just didn't go that way too often, but he's reined it in a little bit. Still perimeter defender that, he is paid to be, but also shooting, respectable numbers, at least from the 3-point line and having another nice season for Houston. Also in the building, former Grizz Steve Adams, former Grizz Jeff Green. Both played last game. Neither plays much, but both played last game. So at least suggests we could see 3 former Grizzlies in Houston Rockets uniforms tonight inside FedEx Forum. Bennett, it's always good to see your old friends, isn't it?
It is good to see your old friends. I mean, I'm not sure the ovation Jeff Green would get just because I think he's played on like 10 other teams since the Grizzlies. But
Bennett, he did his best. He did his best.
No, he did. Jeff Green, like, shout out to him, man. It honestly, I think the longevity he's had in this league is super impressive, man. Like, it just is. And he's been on really good teams even since the Grizzlies tenure. So shout out to him. As far as like the ovation, I'm not sure it'll be that big. But
I want a rousing ovation for Jeff Green tonight.
Okay, let's rank the ovations. Let's rank the ovations. All right. I'm going to say Steven Adams is going to get the biggest, probably, right?
People love Steven Adams, man.
I think he's going to get the biggest. Dillon, it'll probably be like a mix. I think you'll probably hear some boos, but I would think
so
lean
this is
positive. Yeah.
Let's stop here for a second, because there was a time where I would have been like, I don't know. I'm not much of a booer. But there was a time where I was like, that guy did pop off and get LeBron mad and sort of made the franchise look silly on a big stage. If you want to not like Dillon Brooks, I could co-sign that. If you want to be frustrated and disappointed and not like Dillon Brooks, fine with me. But as we've got a little, room between all that and where we are now, as the calendar's flipped a few times, do people really think negatively about Dillon Brooks anymore?
I don't think so.
Like when I look at Dillon Brooks now, I just sort of smile. I just go, hey, that's kind of fun.
I mean, I think that, like, sure, if there's like a hard foul, if Ja ends up playing and there's like a hard foul on Ja, then the boos will come out. Don't get it twisted.
Oh, sure. If he hurts Ja Morant, yes, he'll get booed. There's no question.
Yeah.
But I just mean, like, whatever feelings you had about Dillon Brooks at the lowest point of the Dillon Brooks Grizzlies relationship, where it just feels like you couldn't possibly feel that way anymore.
No, and I mean, like, I don't know why you would, other than, like you said, maybe people just annoyed by the antics and how it looked publicly, just the scrutiny that the franchise got just because of things he did. But I don't think that way. And overall, I mean, dude, he was a part of a lot of success here. Like, they were always good with him on this roster for the most part. So
I think it'd be one thing if he was a scrub in Houston, and you could be like, see, that's why we got rid of that guy. He ran his mouth. He can't play. And you just be like, just taking little shots whenever you felt like it. But he's a meaningful player on a relevant team. Like, he's an important player on a team that matters. And when you look back on it, his time in Memphis now, you remember the way it ended, but you also remember, I think, exactly what you just said, which is he was a part of a lot of success here. I just don't. If I were inside FedEx Forum tonight and Dillon Brooks got introduced and the guy next to me or the woman next to me stood up and was like, "Boo, you bum," I'd be like, "Yo, you're not over
Chill
that.
out, yeah.
You're not over that." It'd be like if one of my buddies dated some girl like 8 years ago, and I bumped into him at Kroger, and I was like, "How's how's life?" And he was like, "It's good, but man, I still hate so and so from 8 years ago." I'd be like, "What? You're still thinking about that 8 years later?"
Yeah.
Or even 8 months later? Like, what? That's the way I'd feel. If you're still inside FedEx Forum tonight hating Dillon Brooks, I would wonder why you can't get over it. I would wonder why you're still not over somebody you dated several years back, right? But but feel free to act however you want to act. Steven Adams, he's averaging a career low 10.5 minutes per game at the age of 31. This is just probably what he is now, right? But it's like a major career low. Like he went from playing 27-ish minutes a game for the Grizzlies in his last good season to like now he barely plays at all.
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously they have Alperen Şengün there, so right. You're going to play behind him. But yeah, I think you're right. And I mean, I'm sure he understands that. Like you're coming off the long injury, and you've been in the league for a long time. I think he probably recognizes that like he's a veteran backup center. That's probably what he is at this point. I don't think he would start for. I don't think he'd be able to start for a ton of teams like and give you a ton of games with a lot of minutes.
No, this is just
long
probably what he
term,
is.
right? Yeah.
This is what he is, and to your point, he probably understands this is what he is. He's always been pretty understandable. Remember, like he was a starting center on a team that was a 2 seed in the West,
right? And
then just got benched in the playoff series. They were just like, we can't play you anymore, and that would be a real problem for like most players in the league. And with him, it just seemed like he was cool with it. He understood it. So if he understood that, I'm sure he also understands this. Back to Jeff Green, 38 years old. Played here from 2014 to 2016.
Yeah,
Bennett.
man. Remember, he was the missing link. He was the wing that was going to get us over the hump in the G&G era. It didn't necessarily work out, but
he tried. Bennett, he did his best.
And he's a champion. I'm a Jeff Green fan for sure.
Well, it didn't sound like it a minute ago. It sure didn't sound like it a minute ago.
No, I'm just saying we're so far removed from his era as a Grizzly. I just didn't think he was gonna. I mean, he's not gonna get an ovation tonight. That's all I was saying.
I'll never forget it. All right, I'll never forget it.
I'll never forget it either, man. I'll never forget it either. Those are some great memories.
He came here and he did his best.
Yeah.
That's what do you want of your sons? Don't you look at your sons every day and just say, hey, I don't need you to become president of the United States. I don't need you to become anything other than a happy human, and I just want you to do your best at whatever you're doing. Isn't that what you tell your sons? That's what I tell my sons.
I mean, if my sons became as successful as Jeff Green, I'd be ecstatic, bro.
So think about it.
I'd be rich.
Wouldn't you love Jeff Green to be one of your sons?
Yes.
See what I'm saying?
He's older than me.
I know, but still. I mean, I'm not sure exactly how it would work, but if I could somehow snap my fingers and make Jeff Green your third son, would you like that?
I mean, I guess. Like I said, I think I'm pretty sure Jeff's older than me. He's got to be one of the oldest players in the league.
He's 38 years old.
Oh, we're the same age.
Okay.
Damn, I'm old, bro. That hurts. That hurts.
It hurts to know that you're the same age as an NBA player. Buddy, I'm not the same age as an NBA player.
But I mean, like one of the oldest ones in the league.
Yeah, well, at least you're the same age as an NBA player. I'm like the same age as a bowler.
That's fair.
That's fair. I'm like the same age as a professional bowler.
I don't know what I'm going to do when LeBron retires.
It's going to be over.
Yeah, it'll be over.
It's already over for me. It's going to be over for you. And one day it'll be over for Jeff Green. One day, this is what I'm trying to tell you. One day you're going to look up and go, man, I ain't seen Jeff Green in a while. And somebody else will say, well, that's because he retired. Remember, back in that 2024-25 season, he was in the final season of a 2-year contract, and he was only playing a career low 8.5 minutes per game. So once that was done, it was done. Mm-hmm. And they'll be like, oh, well, man, I wish I'd have said something nice to him last time I saw him. You want to live with that regret? Do you want to live with that regret?
No, I don't. Okay, I don't want to live with that regret.
Then show proper appreciation tonight.
I will stand up and clap when he checks into the game tonight.
Thank you. You're on record. You would like to have Jeff Green as your third son.
I will stand up. If anybody's at the game tonight, just look over at Radio Row, and I will be standing and clapping for all three of those guys when they enter the game tonight. I will show my proper appreciation.
But with Jeff Green, can you do one of these with Jeff Green?
I will. Yes, I will. I will do my best to show him the proper appreciation tonight.
Will you put your hat over your heart?
Sure. Yeah, I will.
Jeff Green's back in town. He did his best. He came here and did his best. That's all you would ask from your sons. I don't know why you would ask Jeff Green more than you would ask of your own children. Jeff Green came here and he did his best. That's all you would ask of your sons. I don't know why you'd expect more from Jeff Green.
Mm-hmm.
I'll ask Mike Wallace what he thinks about it. We'll talk to him next.
I'm not going to let you get away with this.
Yeah, that's fine. I deserve it.
You walked in here on Friday afternoon and said
the smoke.
Every day for the last 2 years, you have said, I am John Buckeye.
I said once the playoff matchups were made, you asked what I thought. I said Ohio State's going to beat them by double digits. I said Ohio State's. I walked it all back and went John Vol. I joined General Nealon's Navy.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, one exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals takes it straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season. Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item. Whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
Grizzlies fans, dunks, dimes, and no-looks are great on TV, but nothing compares to catching them IRL. And that starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight in person. From seeing your favorite Grizzly stars up close to hearing the squeak of the sneakers on the hardwood. Put that jersey collection to use and get tickets at Ticketmaster. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside, Memphis.
Welcome back. Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South. I'm in New York City listening to very loud construction just outside of my window. I hope not too disruptive. I hope you can hear it as well. Ben Doyle back inside the Bill Ford Tough studio. And Mike Wallace is a senior editor, Grind City Media, who joins me on Thursdays, and nobody better to talk to today, with the Houston Rockets in town for a big game against the Grizz. Tip scheduled 7 o'clock inside FedEx Forum. Tickets available, Grizzlies.com. Mike Wallace is GP. How are you on this Thursday?
Hey, what's going on, GP, man? Safe travels up there, with you up there and me down here. And real quick, before we get started, you talked about the game tonight, big-time game. It's also National Mentor, Grizzlies Mentor Night. So join the movement. The first 3,000 fans that get to the game tonight will get these T-shirts. And also they can find out how to join our mentoring programs throughout the organization by going to grizzliesfoundation.org. A lot of great people are volunteering their time and mentoring in our community, and you can be a part of that as well.
Appreciate you highlighting all of that. 7 o'clock game tonight, Rockets-Grizzlies. The Rockets are currently second place in the West, half game ahead of the Grizzlies, who are alone in third. There's a little bit of a gap between the Grizz and everybody else below them. So It suggests Oklahoma City is nearly locked in at number one, barring a collapse. The Grizz and Rockets are going to finish probably second and third in some order, and then we can figure out the rest. Obviously, still a lot of games to play, but that's the way it projects right now. Dylan Brooks, back in town, there was a time where it was like, folks didn't know how to feel about him. There was some good stuff, but it ended badly. Is all of that over? Like, when I think about Dylan Brooks now, I don't think about any of the negative stuff, really. I just I'm happy he's doing well, appreciate what he did here. But whatever the stuff was that was there years ago, or even as recently maybe as last year, doesn't feel like it's there anymore for me. Is it there for other people?
No, you know what? I think it'll be there for the fans. They'll have fun with it tonight because, Dylan is going to do something. He's going to have his antics. He's going to, be Dylan the villain. And one of the last times he came to FedEx Forum, he had a remarkable second half, fourth quarter, and hit the game winning. I think he had 27 points that game, including the dagger 3 from the left wing that basically put the game away for the Rockets. And that was his comeback and say, hey, you know, and I remember him going back down court saying, you know, they paid me, you know what I mean? And he got his $80 million from Houston, and, you know, and so be it. But I think Grizzlies fans, if they really think about it, they have to love where they are at that small forward right now, particularly with, you know, Jalen Wells being one of the breakout rookies. And then, you know, G.G. Jackson is on the runway to return as well, too. So if you ask probably 8 or 9 out of every 10 Grizzlies fans, would they prefer Dillon Brooks or what they have right now in the makings at small forward? I think they'll take what they have right now.
There's no question. But, you know, on the other side of it, how about this? I don't like to be wrong, but I'm happy to admit when I am. And I remember when the Rockets gave him $20 million a year, I was like, yo, if you want to be the franchise that gives this guy $20 million a year, knock yourself out. And here we are, fast forward to January 9th, 2025, and they're better off for having done it, and I'm certain they don't regret it. That's a win for them, and that's a win for Dillon Brooks, isn't it?
Oh, no question about it. Like that, you know, I was just giving the Grizzlies side of it, but the Houston Rockets, they certainly needed Van Vliet and Dillon Brooks to be the defensive anchors. You're seeing Amen Thompson and what he's able to do to be like this team year by year and almost week by week is taking on the persona of their head coach, Ime Udoka. And this is a guy that was one of the tough-minded players when he played as a role player with the Trailblazers. He obviously got Boston to the cusp of an NBA championship, and they probably should have beaten that Golden State team before he ran into the controversy in Boston that ended up, you know, leading to his ouster. But no. Dillon Brooks is a quality piece for them. Şengün is playing really, really well for them as well, too. This team is one that you don't want to mess around with. They're probably the most dangerous team in the West because they're so frenetic, right? They can lose to anybody and they can blow out anybody. That's how good they are, and that's how dangerous they are. And for them to be in the race for the top 2-3 seeds in the West, you know, I mean, that says a lot about, you know, where he is as a coach. And I think he's firmly in the Coach of the Year discussion for sure. But yes, Dillon Brooks is certainly a key cog for those guys. And, you know, he's going to be motivated coming into this arena tonight.
Well, you touched on something interesting there with the coach, describing him as tough-minded. He was obviously successful in Boston, then off the court stuff got him out of Boston. Houston takes a chance on him. And there's a lot of reasons the Rockets have emerged as a threat in the West, or sitting at second place in the conference standings. Talent, just pure basketball talent has always got to be the most important thing. But I do think the mindset of some of the important pieces that they brought into that franchise matters a lot and might be just as important as anything else. The head coach is wired a certain way. I've known Fred VanVleet since he was at Wichita State. That guy's wired a certain way. We all know Dillon Brooks is wired a certain way. And I think when you bring those type of people into your franchise, whether you're talking about a basketball team or like some corporate office, when you bring people who are wired to think a certain way and obsess about winning and competition, you get enough of those people in the same place, good stuff can happen. And I really do think that in large part is what's going on in Houston right now.
Yeah, and you know, they're wired that way, and it's been successful, right? So for them to be where they are right now and barely even having the number 3 pick, Reed Sheppard, who was projected to be Rookie of the Year, not even part of the rotation, barely able to scratch the surface of even getting in games. Like Reed Sheppard, the number 3 overall pick, who was considered one of the most dynamic picks in this draft, is basically their Yuki, right? He's their Yuki in terms of what he's getting in terms of minutes. And, you know, to be successful without him, that basically says that he's a potential piece that if they want to get better, and God forbid if that Houston team can land one of these major, you know, free agents or soon-to-be free agents or disgruntled guys that are out there, that team can only get better. And they have the assets clearly to get it done as well, too. So, you know, yeah, they're wired that way. And what they need is you know, they need some playoff-proven guys that have done it in the playoffs before. That's the one thing that they don't have. Guys who have gotten far into the playoffs that they can go to and say, hey, especially in a key role. I heard you guys talking about Jeff Green earlier. Jeff Green has certainly been deep into the playoffs and has a championship in Denver. So he sort of gives them that kind of, you know, big brother, uncle type mentality as well, too. But I'm saying in terms of a guy that they can play 25, 30 minutes in a playoff rotation, they still need one more piece like that, and then they'll be lights out.
a lot of people had fun banging on John Calipari about him bringing Reed Sheppard off of his bench all season, and I still think that was, ridiculous. But the fact that Reed Sheppard is not off to a great start in his NBA career, I don't know. Let me ask you it this way, because, raise my hand. I was somebody who said if I had the first pick in the draft, I would take Reed Sheppard. And I'm not moving off of that now. There is a long list of great NBA players whose first half of the rookie seasons were irrelevant. Perhaps he'll be the next one of those. But if you were in Houston's front office or a Houston Rockets fan, would it concern you that Reed Sheppard has been so ineffective so far as a rookie?
I think, I'm not sure if it's. I think it's a combination of things. I think it's been ineffective, but I also think it's been a lack of opportunity as well, too. Yeah. One of the things that Houston had last year that benefited some of those guys is that, Van Vliet was out for a key stretch. Şengün was out for a key stretch at a certain point. They had injuries that impacted what they were able to do. And you saw Jabari Smith emerge when Şengün was out, and you saw different guys emerge when Van Vliet was out. They didn't have they've been healthy this year for the most part. So, Sheppard is not even able to get on the floor because you don't want to take minutes away from Van Vliet and what that backcourt is doing right now. He's not an NBA defender at this point, and Udoka prides himself on being defensive and tough. So, it is concerning that you invested that kind of pick at him and for him. But I think it's also a trade asset too. I really think that they can look at it and pivot. And if he's not the guy moving forward, or if they want to give him a little bit more time to develop, like a backup quarterback used to be able to develop coming into the NFL, then they can look at it as an asset. And again, there are a lot of teams that coveted Reed Sheppard in that draft, as you know. And if any of those teams have a veteran that can be a spark plug for Houston, and they want to get Reed Sheppard and get off of that, kind of veteran contract, man, like I said, they're in a very dangerous position because I think they're so good right now at 2 in the West that they can get even better if you give them, they use their assets and make a trade in the next month.
Well, that's the thing. Like, they're good enough, like, by definition, to be second place in the West right now, and they're getting nothing from a guy a lot of people thought was going to be the best player from this draft. So what if he actually becomes that in year 2 or year 3? Then, that's how you can take things to another level. Enough about them. Let's talk about us. A status report comes out yesterday, 5 o'clock. John Morant has been upgraded from out to questionable. I'm not asking you to, swear in under oath and make a prediction. And if you're wrong, you lose your 401k. But are we expecting 12 to make his return to the Grizzlies lineup tonight?
You know what? If I was a wagering guy on that, Ja has been the only guy, I think, one of the few guys that have been questionable and didn't play. Right. Usually the trend goes the other way. Because of the physicality of Houston and because of the way that they could play, I don't know if I want to put Ja out there in this game. I think he's going to give it a run. I think he's going to give it a test. He's going to work out right before the game, 45 minutes before tip. And it wouldn't surprise me if he comes back or they say, you know what, we'll hold him out and then he'll play in Minnesota. I really think that might be the better way to go. But, again, Ja has been run later. So, like I said, I truly believe that this is a 50-50 proposition when it comes to Ja Morant in that situation. But again, because of Houston and because of the way that they play, I don't know if this is the most conducive game for him to come back from, specifically a soreness type issue in his upper body. They're going to run him off screens. Udoka is going to do everything they can to make it a physical game where they're tugging and pulling and doing all those kind of things. I'd be kind of hesitant if that's the case tonight, but we'll see. Like, Ja's not afraid of this moment, and the Grizzlies aren't afraid to put him out there if he's ready.
But you make a smart point, and this is not something you typically hear about basketball players or basketball games, but you know where you always hear it? Football, always. And you hear it in ways like this. You've got a rookie quarterback who's been sitting on the bench, waiting his turn. Some veteran journeyman is starting. And at some point this franchise is going to make the move. They're going to flip it. They're going to take the journeyman out, and they're going to insert the rookie. And when you hear Mina Kimes and people like her on ESPN talking about when should this franchise make the move to the rookie, somebody will say something like, well, you don't want to do it against this defense because you don't want him having to deal with that pass rush. because you don't want him having to get hit by Aaron Donald or the equivalent of Aaron Donald. So you let him keep watching this game and then bring him back for this other one against a lesser opponent. You hear that kind of stuff in football all the time. In basketball, way less frequently, but I think it makes a lot of sense. You know how Houston plays. You know who Dylan Brooks is. You know that they won't be hesitant to take, I don't want to say a cheap shot, but just play hard basketball. And if you've got a franchise point guard who is been dealing with a soreness issue and, is missed the past 5 games because he got popped on a screen, maybe it is smart to, even if he could theoretically go tonight, if it was Game 7 of the NBA Finals, let him watch one more and bring him back against a different opponent. That makes sense to me, actually.
Yeah, it does. And the other thing, as we talk it through and we really think about it, you know what? They see Houston in 2 more games again anyway, right? Yeah. So it's like you play Houston tonight, then you go to Minnesota, and then you play Houston on Monday. So it's not like he's going to avoid this team, right? So if he's ready on Saturday, then he'll have to face Houston on Monday anyway. So it's you have to just be cautious. And listen, Ja Morant has had a struggle staying on the court because of injury, right? And that's just part of it. So do you want to put him in harm's way if you can avoid it? But harm can come at any point doing anything. This is the same guy that had a ball rolled into his foot, in the preseason game or whatever. So, it's one of those things where some of these things are just freakish. But at the end of the day, when Ja is back, this team can reach its full potential. And with the magnitude of these next few games for the Grizzlies, I know they want to reach their full potential. And as we've been talking, Gary, the Grizzlies have also updated the fact that G.G. Jackson has been reassigned to the Memphis Hustle for another practice today as well, too. So the fact that he's going to be practicing on a game day, he's already been ruled out for tonight's game, but that's 2 practices in the last 3 days that he's had, or 3 practices over a 3-day stretch. So this guy is also on the runway to be returning in the next, I would say next 2 or 3 games at some point next week during this road trip. That's where that's trending for him too. So you potentially can have both GG and Ja back in your lineup, 2 dynamic players who can give this team another level of boost.
Obviously encouraging news. And just to be clear, I would prefer to watch Ja Morant play basketball tonight. If you left me in charge and Ja is healthy enough to play, I want him to play. My only point is that exactly what you said is something that if I were in a staff meeting and we were discussing this and somebody brought it up, I'd say that's a good point. Let's talk about it. I don't know what conclusion we would reach, but it's something at least worth considering and talking about. I think it's a smart point. Last thing before I get you out of here, also questionable tonight. According to the status report released yesterday at 5 o'clock, Jaren Jackson left thigh soreness, Desmond Bane left ankle sprain, in addition to Santi Aldama, also left ankle sprain. Again, I'm not swearing you in, but how much of that group do we think we'll see tonight?
Man, I tell you, it was a bittersweet injury report, man. And I joke all the time with the PR staff when they put out these reports, because I'm like, y'all are just trolling people at this point, right? You feel great because you see Ja back on there, right? You see Santi on there as questionable or whatever. But then you have a gut punch because you were like, man, Jaren has been one of our most, durable guys, and now he's questionable. Dez came back from the ankle, then went back to the questionable status. So you would hate to see this revolving door. Like, you don't want to see Ja come back and then you don't have Jaren. Then that puts more pressure on Ja to have to do a lot more. So, the Jaren thing is just, again, that's something that crept up over the last game or 2, and he's kind of playing through it, or he's kind of played with it, and we'll see what it means in terms of what he does in terms of warm-up. The Dez thing is a little bit, like I said, he's been battling this. Like, he came back to play against Golden State, then he sat out, and now he's back on the runway again. So I think those 2 dudes are truly questionable. Like, it really is a question whether they will play tonight. And if they don't, then you understand why. Dez has tried to push through this ankle, and maybe it's just a wear and tear thing that is built up on him. With Jaren, this is something new in terms of that thigh. And you don't want to mess around with those kind of thigh contusions with him. And he probably deserves a break. Honestly, if you want to be honest about it, Jaren is gone for the duration since he came back from that hamstring. He's the one guy that probably deserves a night off, even if it's questionable. But we'll see. I hope all of those guys are out there just like you, because I want to see the Grizzlies line up against the top 3, top 4 team in the West at home and see if they can bring it on.
we'll get our answer at some point in the next 8 hours or so. That's Mike Wallace, senior editor, Grind City Media. Make sure you're reading him at grindcitymedia.com. Follow him on X at @MyMikeCheck. That's at @MyMikeCheck. You're the best, buddy. I appreciate your time. Thank you for being here.
All right, take care, man. Safe travels, brother.
All right, brother. That's Mike Wallace, Grind City Media. When we come back, turn our attention college football. The first college football playoff semifinal of the 12-team college football playoff era. It's scheduled for tonight. They're doing it in Miami. Notre Dame, Penn State. James Franklin popping off at the press conference a little bit yesterday. He says Notre Dame needs to get into a league because without Notre Dame in a league, we ain't doing apples to apples. We're doing apples to something that's not apples. I'll tell you exactly what he said. We'll talk playoff next. Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South.
I can't wait to see what your number one. If that's your number two.
Number one for me.
Come on, man.
I listen to the bells of Luther Vandross. I love Luther Vandross's Christmas album.
I gotta go back and listen to that one, man. I'm sure I've heard it.
I listened to the bells and they made me remember. Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
Grizz Nation, it's time to send Ja, Jaron, and Dez to the 2025 All-Star Game.
Oh! What did we just see, partner? Take three! Take three!
Bain for three. Bingo! Desmond Bain heating it up. Blocked by Jaron.
Most versatile power forward in the game today.
Head to NBA.com/vote, the NBA app, or simply use the QR code on the screen to send your Grizzlies to the All-Star Game today.
Our fans have a huge impact on our ability to play to the level that we're striving for.
Drop off, Durant. Oh! Well, you wanted home crowd involvement.
I love those moments where you see our guys engaging in the fans, and the fans just get pumped up.
They are standing in FedEx Forum.
I would hate to be on the other side with the opposition when FedEx Forum's rolling. That's such an unbelievable relationship that our group has with our fans.
There's no substitute for experience, the knowledge gained from having been there before, and the passion to share what you know to make everyone around you better. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies Checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st, and you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing beats catching your Grizzlies IRL, and nobody knows that better than you. So next time you want to hit up a game, Ticketmaster's got your back with tickets to every upcoming matchup. Whether you're catching the Grizzlies at home or on the road, you'll find tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Keep putting that jersey collection to use and get Grizzlies tickets today. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside again soon, Memphis.
Orthopedic injuries can be unpredictable, unforeseen, and unscheduled, and Ortho South understands this better than anyone. Since your injuries don't make appointments, you don't need to either. That's because Ortho South welcomes walk-ins during the weekdays and the evenings, and even on Saturdays. So next time an unforeseen injury makes an unscheduled appearance in your life, visit orthosouth.org to find your nearest urgent care location. Just walk in, and Ortho South will take care of everything, especially you. Learn more. orthosouth.org. That's Ortho South at orthosouth.org. Now, I got 5 more things you need to know.
Number 1.
Oh, Bennett, this isn't one of the 5 more things you need to know, but I think I'm starting to get that scratchy voice. I think it's happening.
Are you getting sick?
It feels like walking to work in 22-degree weather every day might be taking a toll.
Yeah. Well, it's that time of year, buddy.
It is that time of the year, buddy. You know what? I'm going to, instead of focusing on the idea that I might not be able to talk
I hear that
by the end of
raspiness.
the day, instead of focusing on the possibility that I might not be able to speak by the end of the day, I'd rather just focus on my blessings, you know?
Yeah, sounds good.
Let's just focus on my blessings. And you know what I'm counting among my blessings today? tonight I get the opportunity to watch a college football playoff semifinal between two of the biggest brands in the history of the sport. It's the Notre Dame Fighting Irish and the Penn State Nittany Lions. They're doing it down at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami Gardens, Florida. Big Bet Bennett, you fired up? You ready for a big-time college football playoff game tonight?
I am. It's a big stretch of football in general. You got the college football. I think between now through Monday, we got high-level games every single day. You've got the college football playoff tonight and tomorrow night, and then you got the NFL playoff starting on Saturday, going through Monday. So yeah, it's gonna be good, man. I'm excited.
It's a good time to be a football fan,
yes,
isn't it,
it
Bennett?
is. Yeah, it is.
Did you see James Franklin popping off yesterday a little bit at the press conference? He said, I don't mean no disrespect to Marcus Freeman, Notre Dame's coach. I don't mean no disrespect to, Notre Dame broadly speaking. But if you're asking, and I'm not even sure if anybody was asking, he just sort of threw it out there. He said, I think it's crazy that Notre Dame isn't in a conference. Notre Dame needs to get in a conference. Like, why do we have to play a conference schedule and then a conference championship game to try to get to the same place they try to get to, but they ain't got to do either one of those things? Does James Franklin got a point?
I mean, I think he's got a point, but like if you're Notre Dame, you're never going to do that unless you're forced to, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
They have stood strong for years. People for decades have been telling them this is what you got to do, and they've been telling everybody else, not really. It's not what we got to do.
Look, we're here. Yeah.
The only way you can ever force them to do it is if you just stop dealing with them. You just say it's sort of like
can't participate.
It's almost like collusion against Notre Dame among the power conferences. If the Big Ten schools and the ACC schools and if everybody just said, hey, you know what, stay independent if you want to, but we ain't playing you. But we're a historic rival with you. Yeah, but we're not playing you anymore. Join our league and you can play all of us, but without joining our league, you can't play any of us. And oh, by the way, your basketball programs, they're out of the ACC. All your other sports, we're not taking them anymore either. So you either come with us or get out of here. You really do have to just put your foot down with them. Problem is, of course, nobody will do that because they're too big. They're too powerful, too big of a brand. So it's like I could tell you exactly what you need to do to force Notre Dame's hand, but then I say, okay, you ready to do it? And you say, well, we can't do that. So here we are, and Notre Dame just continues to stay strong in the face of it. But I do think it's a reasonable point. Like Notre Dame just plays by completely different rules than everybody else, and like in ways that also work against them based on the current format of the college football playoff. Because do you realize as long as the format requires you to be a conference champion to be a top 4 seed in the 12-team college football playoff, which is the way it is now, Notre Dame can never be a top 4 seed. Notre Dame could have the best team in the country by a wide margin, go undefeated, get every first place vote in the AP poll, all of the computers that exist be number 1 in them, have every analyst in the world say Notre Dame's the best college football team in the country and the best college football team I've ever seen in the history of my life. And based on the current format of the playoff, they could be no better than the 5 seed. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. I mean, well, that's the way to kind of hold them hostage.
Except you know
right?
what Notre Dame said? You know what Notre Dame said? We don't care.
We don't care.
Because we'll be the 5 seed, and based on current formats, that means that we get to host a college football playoff game at home, like they did just a few weeks ago on that Friday. They say, okay, we're happy. Don't even make us a top 4 seed. You made Oregon a top 4 seed, but they didn't get to host a playoff game. At least we get to host playoff games. So fine, we'll be the 5 seed. So it's just you mess with the integrity of the bracket by doing it this way, but you give them an incentive to be okay with it by giving them a home playoff game if they are, the 5th seed or the 6th seed. So they're like, cool, we'll just do it this way. But it's all just weird and goofy. So I agree with James Franklin. Like it would be all better, or at least make more sense, if Notre Dame were in a conference. But until you force Notre Dame, you use the right word, Bennett, force. Until you do things that force them to do it, until you do things where they say, well, we can't live like this anymore, they're not going to do it. And so far, whether it's the ACC or anybody who plays against them in football or any television network, nobody's been comfortable standing up to them in that way, so they continue to operate in this way. Either way, 6:30 tonight, kickoff, ESPN, Notre Dame, Penn State, live from Miami. Bennett's going to pick it in GP's carryout.
Number 2.
Final score, Bennett, in Fayetteville, Ole Miss 73, Arkansas 66. Chris Beard's Rebels improved to 13-2 overall, 2-0 in the SEC. John Calipari's Razorbacks dropped to 11-4, 0-2 in the SEC. If you're curious, Bennett, and I know you are,
I am.
This is the first time John Calipari has ever been 0-2 in the SEC. It never, not even once, happened to him at Kentucky. This ain't off to a great start, is it?
No, I don't like. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think that coming into this season there was expectations for them to just have a big year in the SEC, right? Was there? I know he brought in a nice class, but I don't think there was massive expectations for this year. Was there?
Well, there were massive expectations to be better than this, to be 0-2 in the SEC, to be at this moment by some sites projected to miss the NCAA tournament. They were preseason number 16 in the AP poll.
Yeah.
So for whatever that's worth, they were ranked 16th in the AP poll. When this season started, they were ranked ahead of top 10 teams like Marquette, like Florida, like Kentucky, like the Ole Miss team that beat them last night in Fayetteville. And what they are is 0-4 in the SEC. And if you just go by the net rankings, they dropped all the way down to 47 after last night's loss. If you go by net rankings right now, there are 16 teams in the SEC, Bennett. It's a trivia time.
Okay.
It's a Thursday trivia time.
All right.
16 teams in the SEC, Bennett.
Mm-hmm.
Where does Arkansas rank in the net right now in the SEC?
I'm gonna say they're okay. So they're gonna be ahead of. They're gonna be ahead of like Vandy, or they're gonna be ahead of South Carolina. We know. Are they gonna be ahead of Vandy? I don't. I'll say, and this is out of 16, right?
Out of 16.
I'll say 14. I'll say 14.
That's exactly right, Bennett. You're a winner. Bennett, you're a winner.
Who's behind them? Vandy and South Carolina?
LSU and South Carolina.
Vandy's good, right?
Vandy's 37th in the net right now.
Yeah,
13-2 overall, 1-1 in quadrant one.
Gotcha.
Arkansas 47th in the net, 1-4 in quadrant one, and only 1-0 in quadrant two. So they've only got 2 wins inside the first 2 quadrants. You ready for this, Bennett? Memphis has 10. Memphis has 10 wins inside the first 2 quadrants right now. Arkansas has 2 and is 1-4 in quadrant one. So we were talking about it last night on Inside College Basketball. When you watch this Arkansas team and you listen to these John Calipari postgame press conferences, it sounds exactly and looks exactly like all of the recent disappointing years at Kentucky. It's the same ingredients. Go out and get a great recruiting class. Go out and get a roster of guys that people think are really high-level basketball players with NBA potential. Get you a projected lottery pick or 2, and then put it on the court and make it look like a basketball team that doesn't work, lose, and then hold a post-game press conference and talk about all the things you wish you would have done differently. Like, that is what Kentucky fans got so tired of. Yo, man, stop telling me what you would have done differently if you could do it over again, and start doing the things that will allow you to never have to talk to me so often about all the things you wish you would have done differently because things aren't going well. Just make things go well again the way they used to. And at Arkansas, I mean, I could play you last night's press conference or last game's press conference and then play you one from last year at Kentucky or 2 years ago at Kentucky. They would sound the exact same. And Kentucky fans were just over it. They just didn't want to hear it anymore. Just, it's like anybody, imagine in any relationship you have where somebody just keeps disappointing you, personal relationship or professional relationship, and every time they do, they just go, man, well, I wish I'd have done that differently, or I wish I wouldn't have done that, or I wish well then if you know, if at the benefit of hindsight every single time you know you shouldn't have done that, then maybe like stop doing that and we can stop talking about this, right? That's where the relationship got between John and Kentucky fans, and that's already where it is again now between John and Arkansas fans. So it's still early and they've got talent, so
yeah,
maybe they could turn it around. But buddy, this ain't the league you want to be trying to turn it around in, because guess what? If you are right now, according to the computers, at least one computer, the 14th best team in your 16-team league, how you turn it around when there's 13 teams better than you? That's what you're trying to turn it around against? You ain't trying to turn it around against UAB and East Carolina. You're trying to turn it around against maybe the best conference that has ever existed in the history of college basketball.
I mean, dude, I'm looking at their schedule. Like, their next game, they're home against number 8 Florida. Okay, well, that's probably a loss. And then, like, you at LSU, at Missouri, home against Georgia. Like, that's where they have to make some noise, because then after that, they play Oklahoma, they're at Kentucky, at Texas, Alabama. Like, it could really get away from them if they don't make some noise in these next couple games.
They're on a 2-game losing streak and projected to be underdogs in each of the next 3 games. Home against Florida, at LSU, at Missouri. You know, if you ain't favored at LSU, at Missouri, you ain't going to be favored anywhere on the road other than at South Carolina. For what it's worth right now, KenPom's got Arkansas entering the SEC tournament, 18-13 overall, 7-11 in the SEC. That will not be good enough. If they're 7-11 in the SEC, they will be going into the SEC tournament after spending millions and millions and millions of dollars in NIL to get this roster built to where people like me and computers thought Arkansas had a preseason top 20 team. They will have spent millions and millions of dollars building that roster only to miss the NCAA tournament in year 1 under John Calipari. That's not what anybody was hoping for when he was hired to replace Eric Musselman in Fayetteville, except, of course, possibly Kentucky fans that are enjoying this, I'm certain.
Number 3.
Hey, that was fast. Nikki Glazer has already reportedly reached a deal to continue hosting the Golden Globes for CBS, America's most watched network. It's the network of stars. Makes sense to me. If you find somebody who looks like they're perfect for the job, might as well go ahead and hire them to keep doing it, right? That's what I would do.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, she was great. And that show is supposed to be more like the Oscars. That's more serious. Like we have to be serious here. This is the Oscars. Like this is the best of the best. Golden Globes is more laid back, and so
I mean, except for that one time where the one dude went on stage and slapped the dude, right?
Wait, what? Oh, that was the Oscars, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the Oscars are serious up until somebody decides they got to slap another man.
God, that was the Oscars when Will Smith slapped Chris Rock. I for some reason I was thinking it was something else.
Broadly speaking, I understand your point.
Yeah, and they did, like, the best Golden Globes have been the ones that Ricky Gervais hosted. Like, they just have. He was hilarious. And so you need someone that's gonna be funny, but that is going to make it a little cringe, like make you cringe a little bit, and she's really good at that.
But she splits the difference between boring host and Ricky Gervais, because as funny as Ricky Gervais is, and he's hilarious, Bennett, I give you a lot of credit. It was like less than 2 years ago, I was sitting here in New York City just like this, and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I just got a night off in the city tonight. I don't know what I'm doing. I'll probably just sit here, just look out my window again. Yeah. And you were like, no, man, you shouldn't. And you actually did this research. You said, hey, I was looking. Ricky Gervais is at Radio City. How far is Radio City? I said, buddy, that's just right down the street from where Luigi shot that guy. I can walk there in 5 minutes. And you said, you should go to see Ricky Gervais. I was like, all right, I'll go see Ricky Gervais. And, man, I don't think you're supposed to go to comedy shows by yourself. But I did. And I had a blast.
Yeah,
he was hilarious. But he will also offend people, right?
Yes. Like, he's not long for it in those settings. Like, they're not going to stick with him forever, right?
Yeah, I don't get offended by jokes. I think jokes are funny. I think jokes are funny. Even offensive jokes, I think they're funny.
Me too.
I don't get offended by jokes. I get offended by people who get offended by jokes. So Ricky Gervais could say quite literally anything, and it's as long as it's under the umbrella of this is a joke, this is comedy, this is the bit, this is what he's doing. I am, with few exceptions, I don't want to paint like 100% absolutes, but with few exceptions, it'd be hard for a comedian to say something that I, decided I needed to post about on Facebook.
Yeah.
All right. But, most people ain't like me in that regard. So Ricky Gervais is going to make you laugh. Go watch his monologues or anything he did with those Golden Globes. Like seriously, just type in, go to YouTube whenever you're high and you want to laugh, Ricky Gervais Golden Globe monologue. Ricky Gervais Golden Globe, just let it go. And he's hilarious. He'll make you laugh. Whether you think he's offensive or not, whether you're offended or not, you'll laugh because he's hilarious. But he will also at some point then tell you that, God isn't real. And like, and it's like CBS,
Yeah, we can't do this. Yeah.
These people just got through watching 60 Minutes and they're ready to watch the next episode of Matlock. All right. They don't want to hear that God's not real. Okay. Regardless of whether you're making good points or not, that's not what people want to hear. So he is hilarious, but he will also offend people, and he will also make it very awkward in the room because he'll go for somebody's jugular. Where if you listen to Nikki talk about it, they had 10 more jokes that they could have done, and they actually pull some out of them and say, this is funny, but it's too mean. This is funny, but it's more mean than it is funny. And so she's able to do the roast aspect of it. Like, she can make a Timothée Chalamet joke, but it won't come across as vicious or mean. It's just like she's just having fun and doing jokes, and she's doing it with a smile. And it seems like even if she were to do something that might embarrass you or hurt you, you see, like, she comes across like somebody who would go, yeah, I'm just playing around. I hope you're not offended. I'm just doing the job. Please don't be mad at me. I like you, and I hope you like me. It just doesn't seem mean with her as much as it just seems like she's doing the job. She just struck that balance really well. She nailed it. I really didn't see anybody. I'm sure there's somebody out there mad about something, because there's always somebody out there mad about something. But in terms of like just people who, I didn't see any serious person have any serious issue or say anything other than Nikki Glaser was pretty awesome hosting the Golden Globes on Sunday night. And when that's the review, when everybody watches you do something for the first time and they go, oh, buddy, she can really do that, then why not just hire her to do it again and again and again? And so the reports is that she's already reached a deal for next year. She has indicated she's already working on a long-term deal. Like, let's do 4 years, 6 years, 8 years. I don't know if I want Nikki Glaser ending up with a longer CBS contract than me, but I won't be offended either way. If I'm speaking honestly, she's probably better at that than I am at anything. So congratulations to her. I'm happy for her. You're happy for her, aren't you?
I'm very happy for her. Speaking of the Golden Globes, I did watch The Substance last night.
Is it wild, right?
That was a wild ride. That was a wild ride.
I told you, me and my wife, we ordered it about a month ago or so, maybe a little longer. We're just looking for something to watch. And I was like, okay, if it was perfect for hey, it's after 9 o'clock and we're looking for something to watch, it was perfect for that because it was like it's supposed to be exciting, a thriller. And then it got good reviews. And it had great performances, and it wasn't long. I don't remember it being long. I think it was like around 2 hours or maybe even less than 2 hours. It just, all the stuff I'm looking for to try to watch something after 9 o'clock, it checked all of those boxes. And so I said, you want to watch this? And so we watched the trailer, and she said, yeah, let's watch this. And so we watched it, and we watched it almost in silence, just sitting next to each other, lying next to each other. And then when it was over, I said, what did you think? And you know what she said? I swear to God, this is the exact quote. Here's what she said. She said, I don't ever want to watch anything like that again.
I see. That's right up my alley, man. I loved it. I loved every minute of it. And I get it. I get it.
That was my wife's review of The Substance. Like, if she was a film critic and they put it on the commercial, like, and go stream The Substance, and they have the pull out quotes and they put on the screen. Yeah. It would say, I don't ever want to watch anything like that ever again. Quote, Kelly Parrish. That's what it would say.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it in the sense that I was like, well, this is interesting. And there are some real messages in there that I think are worthwhile. It was almost like a Pixar film in the sense that there's a message in here.
There is a message, yes.
There's a message in here.
Dive deep for it, but there's a message, yeah.
I mean, you might get a little squeamish while you're getting the message, but like, it's in there. If you can make it through here, there's a message in here somewhere. A little bit like a Pixar film in the sense that there's a message in. It's a little bit like Inside Out 2. And I think I might be the first person to ever compare The Substance to Inside Out 2.
Probably.
But there's messages in both of those films if you're willing to go find them. If you can open your eyes a little bit, open your ears a little bit, and go find those messages. They're in there for you.
Yeah.
But I tell you, buddy, by the end of it, I was looking around like, am I all right? Like, what's going on right now? Like, is this movie really this bananas, or have I just reached a point in the night where my mind's a little bananas? Like, what's going on right now?
I love that.
Did you have a similar experience?
Yeah, I mean, I loved it. And I hope that, again, that's why after watching it, And when Demi Moore won the Golden Globe, I was like, man, that is so sick that they gave her that award for that movie. And I hope she gets some Oscar love. I don't know that she will because they just don't tend to give horror movies any love. I wouldn't necessarily call The Substance a horror movie. I don't know. I guess it probably does fit the horror category. There's some
I was scared.
There's
What's
some
the horror movie supposed to do? What's the horror movie supposed to do? Is the horror movie supposed to scare you?
At the end was scary.
Is a horror movie supposed to scare you? Because it scared me. I was scared by the end of it.
And the Oscars just don't give love to horror movies like that. So I'd be shocked if it gets the same kind of love from the Oscars that it did from the Golden Globes. But I'd be fired up if it did.
I'm happy for Demi Moore. I'm happy for The Substance. I'm happy for Margaret Qualley, who seems like a talented young woman. I'm happy that the film is getting this attention that it's getting because, like you say, horror films don't tend to get respected in this way, honored in this way.
That's right.
And Demi Moore, in her own way, is a lifelong horror film in the sense that she never got respected or appreciated in this way. So I'm happy all of this happened.
Me too.
I'm happy it all happened on Sunday night. And I won't protest if it happens again at the Oscars. But I'm a Mikey Madison fan. I
like Mikey too. No, Mikey was great.
I need you to know that I'm a Mikey Madison fan.
I'm a fan as well. I saw Nora too. And it was great.
She was on Jimmy Fallon last night. Did you see Mikey Madison on Jimmy Fallon last night?
Oh, man. I didn't see her. I mean, she had my heart when she did the Criterion Closet video. So, I'm a big fan.
And my mother texted me late last night. My mother, she knows I'm a Mikey Madison fan. She texted me late last night. She said, hey, Mikey Madison is on Jimmy Fallon tonight. I said, okay, well, I'm talking about basketball on TV right now, but I'll get to it eventually. And so when I settled back here into the hotel, I had a million things I had to do, Bennett. But you know what I did before I did those million things?
What?
I watched Jimmy Fallon talk to Mikey Madison because I'm a Mikey Madison fan. I need you to understand that.
Yep, I got it. As am I.
And she was just as pleasant. She just seems like a pleasant young woman.
She's pleasant. She's very pleasant, yes.
And she's not on social media. I looked. I mean, I think you looked. You looked too, probably.
I did.
She's not on social media. And you know why? She just says, I don't see the need for it. What a nice example for young people everywhere.
What a level-headed way to go about life.
How about this? A young woman who is maybe the biggest shining star among young women right now in the entire world, right?
Right.
I mean, maybe Sabrina Carpenter would have issue with it, but you get the point.
Yeah, I got your point.
It's a real moment for Mikey Madison right now. And you know what? She's doing it without social media. She said she doesn't need it. Isn't that a great lesson for all young women everywhere? You don't need to do all this nonsense that you're doing all the time. I mean, by God, if you want to do it, you can do it. Live your life. If you want TikTok. But just know that you can become Mikey Madison without it. Mikey Madison became Mikey Madison without it. That's a good lesson for, I think, all young people out there, both men and women. Don't you think so, Bennett?
I think it is, GP. I think it is.
Anyway, Nikki Glaser got the Golden Globes again. I think that's what we're talking about. Nikki Glaser is going to already host the Golden Globes again on CBS next year, and I'm happy for her. She deserves it. As long as we're teaching lessons, Bennett, there's another one. Nikki Glaser, she ain't 27 years old. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. She ain't Mikey Madison's age. All right? She's just out there grinding her whole life, making a nice living, sure, specials and the whole deal, but it ain't never really popped for her like this. But then she put in the hard work. She kept grinding, never felt sorry for herself, never thought she deserved more than what she was getting, never wondered why she didn't get the television sitcom, why she didn't get the Peacock series or the Paramount Plus series. She just kept doing what she was doing, the best that she could do it. And then she gets an opportunity on the Tom Brady roast on Netflix, and she kills it. She's a star of the show. When everybody wakes up on that next day, they're all talking about Nikki Glaser more than they're talking about anything else. And then CBS sees that, and they go, man, if she could do that, I bet she could do this. And then she prepares like crazy for this, and she knocks it out of the park, and now she's got a deal to keep doing it. Biggest stage you could possibly imagine outside of, some other stages you could imagine. There's a lesson in there, Bennett. What's the lesson? You tell me what the lesson is. Let's put you to the test.
Keep grinding.
Keep grinding is the lesson, Bennett. That's right. Keep grinding and never give up. You never know when your dreams are going to be realized. It'd be great if it all happened in our 20s like it happened for Mikey Madison. But, it doesn't happen like that for everybody. Sometimes you got to keep grinding, keep your head down, and stay focused. That's what Nikki Glaser did. And now look, She's going to keep hosting the Golden Glove until, she doesn't. And I'm happy for her, and congratulations.
Number 4.
What a game last night in Cleveland. Rocket Mortgage, Cavaliers 129, Oklahoma City 122. Some people were calling it a finals preview, and other people were calling it a game between two wonderful regular season teams. But stop it already. You can't be the Cavs and the Thunder and expect to play in the 2025 NBA Finals. Where are you at on this, Bennett? Are you a believer or a skeptic?
I think I think that it's a preview of the finals matchup? No, I do not. I do not think both
Can you reasonably see let's start in the East. Can you reasonably see the Cavs representing the East in the NBA Finals? Can you close your eyes and see that?
Man, I would still take the Celtics. But they're really they're really, I mean, what's their competition? The Celtics, the Knicks. I mean, I think they would get. I like them over the Magic in a series. I think I like them over the Bucks in a series. I definitely like them over the Pacers in a series. So you don't have to go through as much if you're the Cavs, as opposed to the Thunder, where the West is more of a gauntlet. So I could see it. I could see the Cavs, but I would take the Celtics to get back.
Perfectly reasonable opinion. I could see the Cavs, but take the Celtics.
Yeah.
Can you see the Thunder? Can you see it? Other people can't.
Yes.
They say you can't be this young, can't be this free of battle scars, can't get there like this. What do you think?
Well, but the thing is with the Thunder is their best player is not, I mean, he's young, but like he has been through it a little. I mean, he's been in this league for a while now.
I mean, he's been a legitimate MVP candidate back-to-back years. I mean, he's here. He's here.
Yeah, so I think that, I could see it. I hate saying that, but I could definitely see it. Yeah.
I can see it too. It just feels like at some point, I know playoff basketball is different than regular season basketball, but at some point you just got to look at these two teams and go, maybe they're not the two favorites to win the title. Perhaps that's still the Celtics, and appropriately so. But at some point you got to look at these two teams and be like, they check every box, except for the boxes you want them to check that don't necessarily have to be checked. Like I know what history tells us, that it's improbable to watch a franchise win a championship without enduring real postseason battle scars. But like, that doesn't mean it can't happen. That it doesn't often happen doesn't mean that it can't. And it doesn't mean that it hasn't. As I went through a few weeks ago when Grizz were getting ready to play the Warriors, the story of the Warriors is pretty, from just like here to the top. It jumped pretty quickly. I mean, they fired their coach in one season after a early playoff exit, and then hired Steve Kerr, identified Draymond Green as an important piece, and they went and won a championship. It went from here to there really quickly. So that's an example that you can do it. You don't need to lose in the Eastern Conference Finals or Western Conference Finals to be able to eventually win the NBA Finals, or lose in the NBA Finals to eventually win the NBA Finals. That's not what the Warriors did. They just popped. And I'm with you. I don't know that I'm going to be comfortable picking the Cavs to get past Boston, but we are getting closer to the point where, if we do get to a Celtics-Cavs thing and we do get to a Game 7, we'd be asking Boston to go on the road and win that thing inside Rocket Mortgage. I mean, I know it's not decided right now, but I just think these are two franchises, because they don't fit what we traditionally think of as legitimate championship contenders. Either their stars are too young, or their stars aren't really like top 5 in the world, or they don't have the battle-tested scars that you think they need. It's just, we look at them and we go, but nah. Yeah, okay, sure. 15-game winning streak, cool. You're 32-4, neat. But like, when the lights come on and we're saying, all right, this is best of 7, no, let's go, you're not going to be able to do it. Right. And I just think that's a little too far to go. I don't know that I'll pick either to do it, but I could easily see either representing their conference in the NBA Finals. And I know that sounds like thanks for the analysis. You could see the 1 seed in either conference making it to the NBA Finals. Amazing, GP, but you get my point. A lot of people dismiss them out of hand despite the records, and I don't think you should.
I agree. I will say, too, the NBA needs more of that. And I know that's like the perfect circumstance where you get the 2 1 seeds playing against each other and it's on ESPN, but That's the league needs more of that in the regular season. Dude, I'll give you tonight's game with the Grizzlies and the Rockets. That's why I hope everyone plays. That's available and healthy, and can play because it's a big game. It's not on national TV. That's again, if I'm the league, I'm looking at that Grizzlies-Rockets game and going, man, how do we get eyeballs on that? Those are two of the best teams in the West.
I think we are living through a transitional period right now. I think when you look back at the NBA, you'll go, okay, this is where it started to flip. These national television schedules are done before the season starts. Right. I see sometimes, and it's always so silly. It's just people popping off about things they just don't understand. Florida and Oklahoma. I'm just making up a game, all right?
I got you.
But it'd be like Florida and Oklahoma will be playing a basketball game against each other. And Florida is ranked 5th in the country, and Oklahoma's ranked 16th in the country. So it's a top 20 matchup between two teams that are obviously good, and it's streaming on ESPN+. And without exception, you can go do a Twitter search for that, and somebody will be on Twitter going, how do you put a game between two top 20 teams on ESPN+ while this other game between two unranked teams is on ESPN2? How stupid is that? It's not stupid at all. It was decided in July. All right. When Oklahoma was picked to finish next to last in the SEC and Florida was a borderline top 25 team. What this was supposed to be was number 24 Florida against losing record Oklahoma on ESPN+. When they scheduled it, that's what it projected to be. All right. So now that it's two top 20 teams, well, that game was booked for ESPN+ 6 months ago. Same thing with the NBA. These games, they start flexing into games and flexing out of games. But for the most part, what you see on ABC, what you see on ESPN, what you see on TNT, that was decided a long time ago. And I understand as a schedule maker, as a network executive, why you're still just really focused on LeBron James, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant. Keep in mind, we were just coming off the Olympics where they won a gold medal, and the three faces of that thing, the three, you go look at all the promo stuff, all of the pictures coming out of that will be remembered forever as the LeBron, Steph, KD Olympics. So if you're the NBA, you're trying to capitalize on that on some level. So you're really like LeBron, Steph, KD. A lot of those games on national television. But as this season has unfolded, what have we seen? Who are the real stars of the NBA that are about to pop or have already popped or are in the process of popping, and people are like, give me more of that. When we hear about LeBron on TV now and the shitty Lakers on TV now, people are like, enough of that, man. I've seen that. I don't want to see that anymore. Give me Wemby, right? Give me Shai Gilgeous. Give me Ja Morant, all right? I promise you, when you see next season's national television schedule come out, the way it does before every season starts, you will see a dramatic flip in who is getting games. There's going to be way more for Ja Morant. There's going to be more for Wemby. There's going to be more for Shai Gilgeous. They're going to start Anthony Edwards. We're going to start it's going to be the two ships passing in a night thing. Next season will be the season you see a tangible shift in the way the NBA promotes its league, and it'll start shifting away from the older all-time greats and more towards the current younger stars who people do have an appetite for. I think you watched that last night, and there weren't many people or anybody outside of, say, Boston and LA who were sitting around talking about, I'd rather be watching Boston and LA or Philadelphia and New York or Chicago and Miami or big market and big market. Buddy, that's Cleveland and Oklahoma City. That's two awesome professional basketball teams led by awesome younger stars. That's the stuff I'd rather see right now. You'll see that shift heading into next season, I would predict. But for now, for the most part, we get, kind of what we get.
Number 5.
Interesting comment from former Major League Baseball general manager David Sampson. Used to run the Marlins. Now he's a podcast host just like us, Bennett. Works with me at CBS Sports. He's a colleague, nice man, and he makes appearances, obviously on his own podcast. He's always on Dan Le Batard's show. Talented guy, smart guy. I like him a lot. Well, do you see his latest comments that are making big headlines? David Sampson, on the record, he said, I promise you, not I think or I heard or I won't be surprised, but I promise you, I'm putting my podcasting reputation on the line. It's not every day you put your podcasting reputation on the line, Bennett. But David Sampson's putting his podcasting reputation on the line. He says Tom Brady will not be an NFL analyst at Fox Sports next season. This is it. When he does the Super Bowl, that will be the last game he does as a football analyst, even though he has a long contract worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Surprised you to hear that?
I mean, there's obviously been people have been critical of like his performance as a broadcaster this season. But I didn't actually, and I'll be honest, I'd push back on that a little bit. I never thought Brady was bad when I listened. I never once listened and was like, God, this guy sucks at this. I never thought that. Was he amazing? I guess not, but I didn't think he was ever bad.
Here's the truth. You ready? I've never noticed.
Right. That's kind of how I felt.
Unless I remind myself, oh, this is Tom Brady doing this game.
Yeah.
I mean, I can hear his voice and I know it's Tom Brady, but as I'm listening to games, and I'm not sitting around watching NFL every Sunday from the moment I wake up to the moment I go to bed like you, but I have the games on when I'm in my home. And if I happen to have a game on, the volume up, and Tom Brady was doing it, I would never notice. I would know it's Tom Brady, but I would never have a moment where I'd go, man, oh, that was great by Tom Brady. Or,
right.
Oh, yeah, that was cringe by Tom Brady. There was that one moment, and I didn't see it live. I just saw the video go viral, and it went viral because he just messed up. He was doing like his opening hit, and it was like, and I'm making up what it was, but it's something like this. And the 49ers, they've only lost 3 times this year, and one of them is to Detroit. The other one is to, who was the other team that they lost to? Well, anyway, he just lost it, He just lost it. He'd been working on that hit all day. And then it was like, he just, it all day. It's like, and they lost to Detroit and they lost to Miami. I'm just making up things again. But it's like, they only lost 3 times, and it was to Detroit and Miami and Baltimore. And you say it, it's like, yeah, Detroit, Miami, Baltimore. And you say it all day. It's Detroit, Miami, Baltimore. And they've lost 3 times. It's Detroit, Miami, Baltimore. When you're preparing for opening hits on that type of stuff, this is the way you do it. And it's Miami and Detroit and Baltimore and Detroit, just over and over again. And then it's like, all right, now we're going 3, 2, you're on. You do your hit that you practiced 40 times and you just lose it. And he just lost it. But those are the types of things that people notice because most people don't lose it in that moment, but he did. And I don't know what to attribute that to, whether that means he's A, not good, B, wasn't prepared, or C, just had a lapse in memory the way any of us could. But I will say the main criticism directed at Tom Brady, other than the criticism directed at him by people who thinks he's not good at it, is that you just can't do everything he's trying to do and be good at it. And I totally understand that, and I think that's a fair assessment. There's another person trying to do something like this in sports too. Less important, less high profile, but still people notice. Doug Gottlieb. He's trying to run a Division I men's basketball program at Green Bay and host a daily radio show on Fox Sports Radio. I don't listen to his show, so I can't tell you whether it's any good, but I do have a KenPom subscription. I can tell you his basketball team stinks. And I since the day it was announced that he was going to try to do both of those things, first I just thought it was awkward. How do you go get your brains beat out by a Horizon League team and then go host a radio show the next day and
be critical of like other teams?
Well, it's probably all you're thinking about. And how could you be focused on the NFL playoffs when you're just consumed with your 6-game losing streak? Or flip it, and you're actually doing well, and you're like prepping for your conference championship game. You win it, and you go to the NCAA tournament. You lose it, and you don't. But you also got a radio show to do in an hour? Like, how you do it? Like, what?
Right.
It just seems crazy to me. So I don't know if his radio show's good, but I just have, from the moment they announced he was going to try to do both, I said this is a mistake. I am not telling you Doug couldn't be good at either one of those jobs. I'm just telling you I can't imagine anybody being good at both of them because you can't at the same time. Because you can't give them both the attention that you deserve. Like, I know I also have a lot of different jobs, so I hope this doesn't come off as hypocritical. Like, I understand I have different jobs too, but all of my jobs are tied to the same stuff. It's all me expressing opinions consuming information and then expressing opinions, telling stories, entertaining to whatever degree I can do that. It all falls under the same stuff. Yeah, I know sometimes I've got on a tie and a suit. I'm in a television studio answering questions specifically about basketball. And other times I'm sitting here talking about Nikki Glazer and Demi Moore and Mikey Madison for 20 minutes. But it's all talking and expressing opinions and involves microphones or keyboards. It's all under the same, a lot of different stuff, but all under the same umbrella. It's not under the same umbrella to run a franchise in the NFL and be a television analyst.
Yeah.
But that's what Tom Brady's trying to do. It's not under the same umbrella to host a daily radio show and run a Division I men's basketball program. Those are two very different things. I ain't never met a basketball coach running a basketball program who thinks he's got time during the season to just carve out 3 or 4 hours in the middle of his day. Right? Ask Penny Hardaway how often during the season he's out on the golf course for 4 hours. Some, I'm certain, but not as much as he'd like to be because the hours just aren't there. Yeah, I love to play golf. If I didn't, if it were warm outside and I didn't have other responsibilities, I'd play every day. I love being out there. I love everything about it. Ask me the last time I played golf. I don't even know. I don't have time. The hours aren't there. And you ready for this? I ain't trying to run a Division I basketball program. I'm just trying to cover them. And I don't have time. So if you don't have time to get on a golf course in the middle of a basketball season because it's too demanding, whether you're me or Penny Hardaway, you can't possibly have time to do a proper radio show 5 times a week in the middle of the day. It's like there's no way you're giving it the attention it deserves or needs. And if you are, there is no way you're giving the basketball program the attention it deserves or needs. You can't do both of those things. Same thing with Tom Brady. You cannot run an NFL franchise, which is what he's trying to do with the Raiders, and then properly prepare to call the biggest game on Fox every single week. Plus, there's like limitations on what he can do as a, quote, team owner. Like he can't even sit in on team meetings the way analysts always do. Like when Tony Romo, working for CBS, goes to Buffalo to do a game, he is in meetings with Josh Allen. He is in meetings with that coaching staff. Tom Brady's not allowed in those meetings unless those coaching staffs say it's okay. And here's the interesting thing. There have been coaching staffs, front offices who have indicated to Fox reportedly, we're willing to work around these rules. Like we can talk to Tom outside of the facility. Like we can get him on the phone. We're willing to work around these rules because we would actually like Tom Brady to be involved with us. We don't mind Tom Brady having access to us. And reportedly, you know what he said? No, I'm good. Because he doesn't have the time. He doesn't want to do the work. It'd be like if I had to do sideline on a game tomorrow and we had shoot around today and they were like, GP, shoot arounds at noon. And I said, no, I'm good. I might be good, but I'd be better if I went to the shoot around. I'd be better if I saw what they were working on in shoot around. I'd be better if I talked to the coach before the game. I'd be better if I saw the players before the game. You just always will be better having had your eyes on it and your ears on it. You can maybe get by without that work, but you'd be better with that work. So if you're already in year one, reach the point where you're like, no, I'm good. I don't need to do that. There ain't no way you're approaching the job the right way. I think David Sampson's right. We'll see. There's a lot of money at stake, but Tom Brady's got a ton. I don't think he's working for the money. They're paying him a lot, but I can't imagine he's working for the money. I think he probably thought this is something he would do and it would come more easily than it's come to him. But this isn't easy. It's not an easy job. Every once in a while, this happened to me the other day. Somebody says, man, I wish I could get a job just talking. I bet that's great. You know, as an insult. And I'm like, well, it is great to have a job just talking, you know. That's not lost on me. This is amazing that I get to have this as my career. But the idea that it's just talking, like there's 2 people down at a coffee shop just talking, like the idea that when you watch a football game or a basketball game and that play-by-play guy, when you listen to Pete Pranica, Eric Hasseltine, Brevin Knight, the guys ain't just talking. There's a lot of work that goes into that. A lot of hard work, hours every day, days every week, weeks every month, months every year of every decade. You're working to get to the point where you can do what Pete does, what Brevin does, what Rob Fisher does, what Eric Hasseltine does, what EP or anybody else who sits next to Eric Hasseltine does. That's not just talking. You got to put in real work. And there's a lot of evidence that suggests either Tom Brady's unwilling to do it or just not interested in doing it because he genuinely doesn't have time to do it, which is totally sensible. If anybody said I'm running an NFL franchise, so I don't think I have time to prepare for this commentary on this football broadcast this weekend, like that's totally understandable. But then you got to understand that you can't do both jobs, not as well as you'd like to do both jobs. And I bet you he feels that on some level as well, which is why I bet David Sampson's pretty sure of his prediction. Again, he didn't say I won't be surprised or I bet you that Tom Brady's not back next year. He said, I promised you Tom Brady's not calling football games next season. As always, we'll see. But if I were betting, I bet he's probably closer to right than wrong. Be back with GP's Carryout.
When's the last time you guys played a little one-on-one? It was, I don't even know, like maybe last summer, and there's some footage out there that doesn't want to be released. Like he claims he took it easy on me, but I always beat him.
Tune in to the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt live every weekday at 8 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, one exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals takes it straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season. Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
Ring in the new year at Southland Casino Hotel to win your share of over $100,000 in free play, cash, or a 2025 Lexus. On New Year's Eve, we're turning up the energy with incredible entertainment. Dance the night away to the beats of DJ Epic, Jerome Chisholm, and the M-Town Band, and an electrifying performance from Troy Laz. There's only one place to win when the clock strikes midnight, Southland Casino Hotel.
Must be 21 plus. Play responsibly. For help quitting, call 800-522-4700. Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing compares to catching your Grizzlies IRL. And that all starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight. Put that jersey collection to use for the next game and get Grizzlies tickets at Ticketmaster. Whether they're here at FedEx Forum or on the road, Ticketmaster's got your back when it comes to scoring tickets. And there's no better brag than saying you saw it live.
Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South. I'm in New York City. Bennett Doyle's inside the Bill Ford Tough studio, FedEx Forum, downtown Memphis. Bennett, I saw the shot. Looks nice outside, but I gather you guys are expecting a winter wonderland, huh? It's about to get bad down there.
Yeah, we're going to get some snow. They said, I believe it's anything between 4 and 8 inches of snow. The good news.
Big difference between 4 and 8 inches, though, Bennett.
I know, right? You got to tell me. The good news, though, for anybody thinking about coming down to the game tonight is they're saying the snow's not going to start till after midnight now. So if you're planning on coming down to FedEx Forum, you got nothing to worry about.
Nothing to worry about. Not a single thing to worry about if you come to FedEx Forum tonight. Grizzlies-Rockets, 7 o'clock tip. Tickets available, grizzlies.com. All right, Bennett. Let's do GP's Carryout then.
Okay.
It's time for GP's Carryout. One final segment filled with stuff to take with you. It's not everything you need to know, but it's most of it. What did we learn today?
A whole bunch of stuff, but in the opening hour, we mostly focused on your Memphis Grizzlies because they're back inside FedEx Forum tonight. 7 o'clock tip. Houston Rockets are in town. It's a big-time Thursday night basketball game. The Rockets are sitting in second in the Western Conference standing. Grizzlies alone in third. Little bit of a gap between those two and everybody else below them. Also a gap between those two and the Oklahoma City Thunder above them. So we could be in a situation where the Grizzlies and Rockets are jockeying back and forth. I think that's the way you say it, isn't it, Bennett? When franchises might be going back and forth in the standings, don't we say they're jockeying for position? They could be jockeying for position for the rest of this regular season. In fact, they could be flipping, flopping all regular season. Grizzlies half game back tonight. The way the standings work, Grizzlies win tonight. That means we're going to go to bed when we wake up. And maybe even before you go to bed, depending on how quickly you close your eyes and get to sleep. But either before you go to bed tonight or when you wake up in the morning, you look at the NBA standings, Western Conference. If the Grizz win tonight, they're going to be sitting above the Houston Rockets by a half game, alone in second. The Western Conference standings. How does that sound to you, Big Bet Bennett?
It sounds great, and another reason it's a huge game is because you play them again on Monday, and they've already beaten you once. So I told you yesterday we play the Rockets 3 times this month. They've already beaten you once, so you lose tonight, you lose Monday, they win the season series. So you want to definitely get... you want to get these next two, man. I mean, again, as tight as this race is, you could be looking at tiebreakers, towards the end of the season. So you want to try to get that season series against them.
Always fun to have Dylan Brooks back inside FedEx Forum. Be good to see Steven Adams inside FedEx Forum. Also, former Grizz Jeff Green, at the age of 38, will be inside FedEx Forum tonight. He played in the last game, playing about 8.5 minutes per game. Given that he does play for the Rockets, and given that he did play last game for the Rockets, I am expecting at some point tonight, Jeff Green will check in to a basketball game inside FedEx Forum. And what I think is that if not the crowd, at least Bennett should show proper appreciation. I know the Jeff Green thing didn't go as perfectly as we all envisioned or hoped or wanted, but he did his best. He spent 2 years here. He did his best. Bennett, when you talk to your boys, you're trying to be a good influence on them, set expectations. When you talk to your boys, what's the main message? My main message to my boys is, hey, I'm not here to tell you what you have to do. I mean, in some cases I will, but I want you to find your own way. But the thing I require more than anything else, the only thing I really ask is that whatever it is you're pursuing, whatever it is you're trying, whatever it is we're trying to do, whether it's a spelling test or Legos, I mean, whether we're coloring, whether we're playing Fortnite, whatever we're trying to do, let's get outside a little bit. Maybe it can be baseball, golf, basketball, you name it. But whatever we're trying to do, let's try to do it. Let's do our best. Schoolwork, let's do our best. Hey, Dad, I think I'm done with my homework. Let me take a look at it. All right, it doesn't look like you're done, but is this really the best you could do? Is this the best you could have done? Well, I just wanted to get done. Well, that's not good enough. If this is the best you could do, like if you're actually not smart, well, then we'll have to work on that. But I think you're smarter than this. I think you could do better. I want you to do your best. That's all I ask of my sons. All of them. Different age ranges, different personalities. I just want them to do their best, whatever they're doing. Jeff Green came here and he did his best. Was his best what you wanted? No. But I think if you talk to him tonight, and I wish you would, I think he would tell you I did my best while I was here in Memphis. And so I'm not saying the whole crowd needs to appreciate that, but Bennett, I'd like it if you did. So let's practice. Let's practice for a second.
No.
Let's practice for 1 second. Jeff Green's not going to start tonight, but at some point, there's a chance he could check into this game. At which point, this is what your ear's going to hear, some version of something like this. Checking into the game, number 32 for the Houston Rockets, Jeff Green. How are you going to respond? Show me what you'll do. Tell me what you'll do. That's not good enough. That's not your best.
Okay.
I would not allow you to be one of my sons clapping like that. That's not your best. Bennett. Checking into the game for the Houston Rockets, number 32, Jeff Green. It's not enough, Bennett. That's not your best.
I'll practice. I'll practice later. Yeah.
Bennett.
I'm not standing up and saluting Jeff Green tonight. I'm sorry. I'm not going to do it.
Remove your hat.
No.
Remove your hat.
No. I will not stand up and salute Jeff Green tonight. I'm sorry. They're like over 10 years removed from that.
He did his best.
Okay.
He came here and he did his best. Do you think he wanted to come here? Do you think when Jeff Green found out he's going to Memphis, he was like, woohoo? But he came here and he was a professional and he did his best. Take your hat off tonight.
No.
Take your hat off tonight like it's the national anthem.
I'll be busy.
When you look at Jeff Green, I want you to look at him like he's the national anthem. All right?
Okay.
All right.
What's today's biggest game?
I'm taking you to college football. I'm taking you down to Miami Gardens. It's a college football playoff semifinal, the first of two. Because when you're talking about semifinals, there's always going to be a first of two and a second of two. It's Notre Dame and Penn State, 6:30 tip, or kick rather. I think they're going to kick it. It's on ESPN. Notre Dame is a 1-point favorite. The total is 44.5. How are you going to act? Do you like James Franklin? I know you're a Titans fan. They're based in Nashville. James Franklin used to work in Nashville at Vanderbilt. Do you have any affection in your heart for James Franklin?
Oh, I don't give a crap about Vanderbilt.
I thought maybe you give a...
Nobody in Nashville gives a crap about Vanderbilt. What are we talking about?
Bennett, I saw
Except the people that go there.
They took the goalpost and they threw them into that river. What are you talking about? Nobody cares about Vanderbilt. I saw him carry goalposts.
Okay, then why is it always the opposing team's fans whenever they play a home game?
All right, Bennett, calm down. They're trying to turn a corner right now at Vanderbilt, and
Yeah, I got it.
They're trying to turn a corner right now. James Franklin had some good years at Vanderbilt. You never appreciated what he did for your state? That's your state. He did things for your state.
Yeah, sure.
It doesn't sound like you appreciate James Franklin or Jeff Green. Who do you appreciate? Who do you appreciate in this world? If it's not James Franklin and Jeff Green, who?
Mikey Madison.
That's a good answer.
Yeah.
Mikey Madison is the right answer, probably.
Yeah.
Mikey Madison is the right answer. She's a talented young woman. There's no getting around that. I think I like James Franklin. I know sometimes I don't know. I think sometimes I read that some people think he's trying to cover up some stuff that he shouldn't be trying to cover up. So I don't think I love that part of it. But I think there's things about James Franklin that I like. Are there things about Notre Dame that we like? What do we like, Bennett? What are we doing tonight?
I'm gonna go with the Nittany Lions. I'm seeing Notre Dame -1. It's a home game. It's at Penn State, right?
It's
the Orange. It's the Orange Bowl.
I've only said it 11 times. It's at Hard Rock
I'm still
Stadium
getting used to this
Miami
stupid ass format. All right.
You don't respect Jeff Green. You don't respect James Franklin. You don't respect Hard Rock Stadium.
I'm going to go Penn State just because my wife's family, a lot of them are Penn State fans and went to school there, so I'll go Penn State.
Why? They were big Sandusky fans back in the day?
I guess so. They got the gear.
Woo!
I mean, Penn State's never won a championship in my lifetime, so that's why I'm rooting for them.
Remember the first time you ever heard about that Jerry Sandusky stuff?
That was a wild time, yeah.
Man, buddy.
We got through some shows. We got through some shows off that thing.
Man, we went from like Joe Paterno is God to tearing a statue down like in a matter of 4 days. That's what it felt like, at least.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna go Penn State.
Bennett said he's going Penn State plus the 1. That's where Jerry Sandusky used to work. So I guess whenever you got to align yourself with a pedophile.
Well, I also saw another reason that I'm going with Penn
Notre
State.
Dame's got that thing going on. You know what I mean.
Well, I saw this video yesterday. I should have put it. I should have put it on. I saw this video of this guy. You know, one of the great sports movies of all time. I think a lot of people would agree is Rudy. But it turns out that like that whole story is just like completely BS. Like, I mean, yeah, it happened. There was like this dude named Rudy that played at Notre Dame and he was like a super underdog. But like all the whole like feel good aspect of like apparently they just like the teammates like didn't even really like him that much, that it was kind of a joke. And I love Rudy. And so seeing that video that this guy put out that's gone viral, pretty much dispelling everything that happened in the movie Rudy, I'm down on Notre Dame, man. I'm down on Notre Dame. I hope those players didn't see that video.
I had to speak at something at some point within the past few years. and like I was the undercard speaker. The main speaker was Rudy. And I was like, I guess Rudy's still doing okay, huh? You know?
I guess so, but apparently
I opened for Rudy, basically.
That's pretty cool. Did you talk to him?
I never met him.
No, you didn't get to talk to him. Okay. Yeah,
I don't talk to walk-ons.
Right. You're right. Yeah.
I'm hard to walk on.
Yeah. F that.
No,
I'm gonna go Penn State, bro.
Walking on.
I'm gonna go Penn State.
Yeah, I don't talk to walk-ons.
I got you.
Except for Nathaniel Root. I would always talk to Nathaniel Root.
My favorite walk-on.
Everybody's favorite walk-on.
Mm-hmm.
I talk to Nathaniel Root. I love him, but outside of Nathaniel Root, I program my phone to block all walk-ons calls.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a walk-on, you can't even get to me. Except for Nathaniel Root, he can get to me whenever he wants to. You're taking Penn State plus the 1.
Yeah.
I guess whenever you can align yourself with the university where Jerry Sandusky used to work, you got to do that, huh?
Guess so.
I guess so. Good luck tonight. I hope you can look yourself in the mirror when you wake up tomorrow.
What are we watching on TV?
Can I interest you in the new, it's not Jerry Sandusky, but Jerry Springer. There's a new Jerry Springer documentary on Netflix.
I saw it.
You've already watched it, or you're aware that it exists?
I saw a preview for it. I'm aware it exists.
Are you not excited?
Yeah, no, I know. I'll watch it. I was never like the biggest Jerry Springer fan.
Oh, God, you were never the biggest Jeff Green fan. You were never the biggest Jerry Springer fan.
It was okay. I like it when they
you don't respect Hard Rock Stadium.
It was
Who do
okay.
You respect?
It was okay. Jerry Springer was okay. I did see the one thing that I saw about this that's kind of funny is, you know how like whenever, you know, the big reveal happened or anything like that, and the people would get all upset and cry and sometimes run off stage and run back to the back. They said that the production team would tell these people that if they don't go back out there to where the set is, that they're not going to send them a plane ticket home. That they're not going to fly them back home.
It's a wild situation. The whole thing was a wild deal.
Yeah.
I never really watched it either. I was just sort of aware that it was happening during the day, and I knew other people watched it. It would have been the type of thing that like really killed during the Twitter era or Instagram era. Like if we had Twitter and Insta, like if we could just get the viral moments sent straight to our phones at all hours of the day, I'd have probably been the biggest Jerry Springer fan.
Yeah.
Because like I can't tell you how many minutes a day I waste just watching nonsense. I watch people argue for 30 minutes. I'll just lay in bed. I'll wake up in the morning. Before I get up, I just lay in bed and watch people argue on Instagram for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Just like I'll watch a good fist fight. Like I ain't even got out of bed, but I'd already seen 3 fist fights, 2 murders, and like 7 arguments.
Yeah.
So I'd have loved Jerry Springer if I'd have had access to it the way I have access to everything now, but I never really consumed it that much. Either way, 2-part. Looks like it's a limited series, 2 parts, both episodes under an hour, so you can knock it out in pretty quickly. So if you want to, it's the #1 show on Netflix today. The new Jerry Springer documentary. It won't be hard to find.
What's the best thing we've read?
My colleague Matt Norlander, CBS Sports, had a nice piece yesterday that posted in his weekly court report column detailing the situation at Rutgers. Right now, Rutgers is 8-7 overall, 0-5 in quadrant 1, 1-3 in the Big Ten, probably on their way to missing the NCAA tournament. You might be thinking, okay, Rutgers missing the NCAA tournament. What's the big deal? They have maybe 2 of the top 3 picks in the NBA draft. Everybody would tell you 2 of the top 5 in Ace Bailey and Dylan Harper. And if Rutgers does not make the NCAA tournament and Ace Bailey and Dylan Harper go in the top 5 of the 2025 NBA draft, and right now both of those things seem likely. It seems likely that Rutgers will miss the NCAA tournament, and also likely that Ace Bailey and Dylan Harper will be top 5 picks. If both of those likely things happen, it will represent the first time in history, the first time ever, a college basketball team has missed the NCAA tournament when it had 2 top 5 picks on the roster. First time ever.
Damn.
That's one way to make history, isn't it?
Yeah, no kidding.
So if you haven't read that yet, you can find Norlander's piece. It's at cbssports.com.
What's on tap for tomorrow?
Well, tomorrow's Friday. It's Food Truck Friday. And I don't even care if it's Food Truck Friday for you, because for me, buddy, when you're in New York on Friday and it's Food Truck Friday,
they're
there
everywhere.
ain't nothing but food trucks everywhere.
It's pretty cool.
Every corner. Food trucks on every corner, Bennett. What do you want? You want chicken and rice? Right there. You want some lamb? Right over there. You want a Philly cheesesteak? That's right down there. What do you want? You want corn dog? I get you one of those right down there.
Nice.
You want a hot dog? You want chili dog? What you want? It's in a truck. Anything you want is in a truck. You want quesadilla? It's in a truck right downstairs. So I'm having Food Truck Friday tomorrow. I don't care what you do. I'm having Food Truck Friday tomorrow.
Nice.
We'll look back at Grizzlies-Rockets. Hopefully we'll be celebrating the return of John Morant and the second-place Grizzlies. Jessica Benson will join me in the first hour. Looking forward to that. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll enjoy mine. We'll meet back here tomorrow at 10. Till then, be careful, be kind, be good. Rep your hood.